Riverside FM.
You're listening to the 2400 Block Podcast with Jonnyroobs.
Hey, John Lou Diamond Phillips here. LDP in the house. How you doing, brother?
Hey, guys. Welcome to the episode, impromptu episode. I'm so excited right now. I'm at a loss for words. It's 7:31 here, and over there in the Philippines, it's only 8:31 a.m. in the morning. Good morning to you folks in the Philippines. It's good evening over here in Chicagoland. And this is Jonnyroobs, and my special guest for today, he's a friend of mine's, and he is not just a videographer extraordinaire. No, he's also a guy who's great at podcasting, and not just that, he is a wonderful father, and most importantly, a wonderful human being. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. The one, the only, Dave Alegre. Let's give him a hand. How you doing there, Dave?
How you doing, John? Oh man, that's did you put that introduction together?
Yes, I did.
Man, you're good, man. You're good. Man, I'm proud of, first of all, I want to tell everybody that I'm proud to be on here and honored. I've seen John when he first started, just like maybe a year and a half ago. I just see some growth, and that's the way you have to live. You've got to keep pushing forward, and I see persistence in what you do, and you're really inspiring me. So I'm honored to be here. Yeah.
And you inspire me too. So it's the best of both worlds.
I try to do what I love to do, and hopefully that will plant seeds in people that I connect with. And you've got to live life that way. You've got to pursue your dreams, pursue your passions, and you're not promised tomorrow. So count your blessings every morning. Be thankful for what you have, and don't dwell on the things you wish you could have, because you can have those things too. It just takes work and persistence, and just be the best you can be, because I've seen it. We're not getting any younger, and you don't want to regret it later on. Should have, could have. So,
and first of all, how's the Philippines so far? I know you've been there for like the last few days.
Well, I'm going to tell you one thing. This is my third trip within 7 months. I've flown here, I think in January, and then I had to assist my parents because they're a lot older, and they needed assistance to getting here. And then I left them here, and then flew back to the U.S., and then maybe 3 months later, I think I flew back somewhere in April, and came back, hung out for about a week, and then flew back with them. So the first two trips were more of being with my parents. I didn't really do anything when I came to the Philippines. I hung out at their home, other than go to the mall, which their malls are humongous, and then went back and hung out with them. But I kept feeling like, man, I got to explore the place. I need to explore the Philippines. So when the opportunity came to come back and do a little bit of some business work, and then do some personal exploring, I said, let me take that next jump and go for it, even though the travel is very brutal. It takes almost 24 hours to get here, and wow. It's a long flight, but it's worth it at the end, So I came here for a couple reasons. I think the number one reason is to get re-inspired again about personally, with life in general. Of course, not to get into details, of course, I'm still a grieving single father who just lost his wife, and I thought I know this trip was meant to be. It's one of those trips where, maybe leaving your home and seeing different perspectives in people's lives, and to explore experiences that you've never experienced before will kind of uplift you again, and to be inspired as an artist. So I told myself I'm going to become try to see if I can become a vlogger, which is be more in front of the camera than being behind it, and that is harder than you
It
think.
is.
It is hard. I don't know, John, if you've ever tried it before, but to hold a camera in front of your face and not point it forward, but to point it to you while people are around you can be very unnerving. And to get your thoughts together at that split moment is a skill set that takes time and practice. So you have got to be a storyteller. You've got to technically be not as discreet, because sometimes you can cause attention upon yourself. But I think the number one thing, you shouldn't worry what people think. I think you got to get to that mindset where you're in a zone, and it doesn't matter if you're, and really people aren't paying attention. They might look at you and they're going to go along their way. But I've had a few young kids come up to me asking me, are you a vlogger? Are you a vlogger? And I said, no, not really. I'm a practicing vlogger. So I think I'm getting a little bit better. I think I have a lot of work to do. And it's just been a fun ride. I'm not going to take it too serious, because just like you, I'm going to go from one point to the other, and I'll be able to look back and say, hey, that's funny how I used to do vlogs, and I've evolved into being a much better storyteller as a filmmaker. So yeah, that's and what a way to do it, to be here in the Philippines, because wherever you look, there's something to talk about. There's I can walk out of this hotel, go down the street, and I can start talking about something I see. It could be as simple as stray dogs walking the streets, because you don't see that in America. Stray dogs walk. I mean, a pack of them. I mean, there was like 12 of them walking down the street. They almost look like Filipinos looking for food or something. But yeah, you can turn a story into that if you want to. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Dave,
Yeah.
as an artist, I'm still, I admit, I know this is a breakthrough season for my podcast, but there are times I'm still feeling uncomfortable in front of the camera. I have a feeling that I might mess up. I just got to get used to just seeing the camera lens. The last time I was nervous was when I was an MC for Variety Tunes on some of their events back in the day.
Yeah.
And when the spotlight was on me and I had the mic in my hand, boy, that was a scary moment, because it was nothing but complete darkness and a big bright spotlight right on my face.
I feel you, because you still have that, especially if you're self-aware about yourself, you have a sense of you feel like all these eyeballs are looking at you. I'm very introverted, so if I go in a room, I don't know if it's in my mind, but I feel like everyone's looking at me, and then all of a sudden you start to clam up. So if you're getting on the mic to talk, and that's public speaking, it could be very terrifying for someone who's just concerned about, what do people think as you're talking. But you got to learn to get over that. I don't know. It's a process, and you'll be surprised. You grow when you are uncomfortable. You have to be uncomfortable to move forward and to grow into something. Whether it's playing the piano, if you're uncomfortable playing it in front of people, you got to keep doing it until it is comfortable, and then you move on to the next. And I think that's the same thing with our craft. Fortunately, it's in the public eye. People are going to be looking at us, and we're afraid. Is my hair okay? Am I talking right? Those go in your mind, and then all of a sudden you're just stumbling, and then but whatever. you just gotta. It'll naturally happen as you keep practicing. So
looking at some of your past podcast videos, I've seen a glimpse of them on Instagram.
Yeah.
You're pretty good, man. I must admit that's quite a departure from what you usually do, which is videography, behind the camera and all. But, I'm just gonna give you props for that, man.
Oh, thank you. I think it all stemmed from when I had to do sort of like a eulogy, or like I had to go up and talk about my wife who just passed away um, and it was very terrifying for me. Public speaking is terrifying at first, and you've got hundreds of people sitting there waiting, and at the same time you're emotionally broken. So that was one of the defining moments for me, because I said, you know what, and I mentioned it before, there's nothing more fearful than knowing that, you just lost someone and you watch someone, pass away, and that death is real. So then I put that perspective in my mind, and it's like, well, then public speaking is nothing, because that's probably the ultimate fear for everyone, is to die, and that was for me. So when I thought about that, I said, you know what, I'm going to go up there and talk, and it's going to come from the heart, and I wasn't afraid to talk. So after that, a couple months later, I said, maybe I should get into podcasting or something. And the counselors weren't really helping me, because when you go to counseling, you're releasing your thoughts and your the things that are bothering you, and you're trying to put things together, make things make sense. Podcasting is the same thing, because you're having a conversation with somebody, and you're sharing your thoughts, and that releases any anxiety. For me, it did. So I would say the podcasting was really for my therapeutic healing at that time. I never wanted to, other than I love audio because it allows me to tell stories, but really that's what got me through when I first got my podcast machine. I had to turn that on and just talk with somebody. Yeah. And that was my counseling for me.
It's also, it's like a form of therapy,
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Rather than, staying quiet, rather than, keeping away from everyone, at least you kept up. You're on the mic. You did your thing. Being loud.
Yeah. And you know what? The things you share, you never know if that might help others, right? Or if it, people, might watch it and say, you know what, for the things you have said, it made a difference. It made a difference in my life. So, why not? Why not be transparent and share, the things you're going through, just to help others, and it helps me at the same time, right? Because again, it's releasing. It's not bottling it up. So even talking to you now is helping me. It's getting me more inspired. So, but yeah, I love it here in the Philippines. Coming here in the Philippines, it allows me to see how people live, and people here, they're all happy. I mean, I just met I forgot his name. I ran into a kid in the mall, and I was just sitting down, and then he just sat next to me, and then I just started talking to him, and I asked him, what I did is I went in my wallet and I pulled a US dollar, and I handed it to him, and I said, have you ever seen that before? And he's like, his eyes just lit up. He's like, that's a US dollar. So I said, you can have it. It's a souvenir from the US. And then we just started talking, and he was trying to teach me Tagalog. And, as I got into his backstory, he's a young kid. He's 25 years old, and he's been jobless. He can't find a job. It's kind of hard to find opportunity here in the Philippines. So, but he was happy. That's the main thing. Everyone's happy, and there's just a different vibe here in the Philippines and that's the beauty of this location, of this country, is that people are happy. But at the same time, you got to keep your guard up too, because a happy place, it can have a dark place too. You can't trust everybody. So
did anyone notice that you're American speaking Filipino?
Well, here's the funny thing. I could walk around and everybody looks like me. But for me, I completely feel out of place. It's the weirdest thing. And you can hear people speaking Tagalog, and especially as I start talking. So I was waiting in line to pay for my soda or something, and then I started talking to the cashier if they had something, then everybody in line turned their heads and started looking at me. And they looked at me not with an ugly look, but with a curiosity.
Curious. Yeah.
Yeah, because and then I started noticing my own accent because everyone's accent is Filipino. Here, I'm starting to feel like, man, I sound so country. Because now I'm aware of like the difference in language, but
Yeah.
I told myself, you know what, when I go back to the States, I'm going to do my best, and I wish I did it earlier. I'm going to do my best to learn Tagalog as much as I can and keep practicing.
Man, I gotta learn with
Yeah.
you, dude. I gotta learn with you.
Okay. Because, yeah, it would be a great thing to learn. And they got this terminology that if you talk too much English, you make their nose bleed. Because
Yeah.
I've had some Filipinos say, yeah, you're making my nose bleed. So I've tried to think about what does that mean? That means kind of like, when your nose is bleeding, you're trying too hard to keep it from bleeding. So maybe they feel like they're trying too hard to speak English to match your level of English.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I need to learn Filipino, Tagalog. But the crazy thing, in here in the Philippines, there's so much dialect, different variations of the Filipino language, so you can go from one island to the other, and they're speaking a completely different language, but it's still
I was about
Filipino.
to ask you that one.
Yeah.
I was about to ask you that next. When you were growing up, did your parents ever spoke to you in the language? And then you just
No,
replied back in English?
I mean, they could because I understand it, but I think when you are around your parents and they're having conversations with each other, you know what they're talking about, and then you can say, "Hey, so what happened to the car? What happened? They're talking about
Yeah.
a particular. It's like it's weird. So you're around it so many. And then you got family members who speak Tagalog, so it's you're familiar with what's being said, but you're right, you can't speak it.
Yep.
You can't accurately speak it as an born American Filipino. Um, so I don't know. I have Rosetta Stone in Tagalog.
Oh,
That
nice.
box I only used it once, so I'm gonna use it when I get home.
You know what we gotta do? And we
Yeah.
gotta incorporate into a future episode sometime. We should just try to pronounce Tagalog throughout the entire podcast. Can you imagine that?
and sound funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can imagine. Yeah,
I'm sure
but
everybody would be laughing.
yeah, and I think Tagalog has a little bit of Spanish in it. I took Spanish in high school, so like even my last name is Alegre. It means happy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
And that's exactly who you are, Dave. You always kept up that smile, dude.
I try to.
Yeah.
Yeah. But going back to the Philippines, I came here and I was coming here definitely for healing, to tell you the truth. But I came here for work too. But I came here to get back into my inspiration again, and that's filmmaking. I'll give you the honest truth. Going back into it after taking such a long break has been very difficult because one, the technology has changed a little bit. But two, I'll be very honest, I'm rusty. I don't know what it is. I was walking around the city the other day here, and I didn't know where to point the camera. And normally I know myself by instincts, I know where to go and what to capture. I just will look for it and even how to frame the shot and how to move it. So for the first time, I'm like, I don't know what to tape. And that's the thing. It's like a muscle. Anything's like a muscle. And there's a little bit of talent there too. If you got the talent, it'll come quicker. But yeah, you've got it. You've got to continuously practice, or it will slightly fade, and it might take some time to get back. It's like riding a bike again. So I'm at that stage. But when I was at home trying to get back into my work again because I have to get back to work. I got to provide for my kids. It just was very difficult. I don't know if there was a little combination of still that sadness of dealing with grief. And grief has a lot to do with it. So this trip was so important to go to and to just be re-inspired again, because there's a palette of things I can film, but how to do it is been a little bit of a challenge for me, and I'll be honest with that. And then also vlogging, like I said, being a vlogger and talking on camera versus pointing a camera and documenting is a completely beast by itself, because again, it deals with communication skills and not only learning how to communicate on camera and give your thoughts, but to create a beginning and middle and end. And also you need to educate yourself with what you're vlogging about, because I think I went to a location, I think it had monuments and everything. I know it was a historic place, but I'm walking around with the camera and I don't even know where I am. I'm like, oh, there's a statue here. So you have to do your pre-investigation and what you're going to talk about.
As to where you're going.
Yes. So I learned that lesson, and I did mention before, you have to, especially if you're a one-man band filming, you've got to be very light in your equipment. So I invested in smaller cameras, and I even got wish I have it here. I got this 360 camera here.
Oh,
this
nice.
Is, you got to get one of these. It's an Insta360 X3. So really, you can hold this in any position, and it's getting everything around you. And the coolest thing, you put a stick on it, and you hold it in front of you. The software will eliminate that stick, and it looks like someone's filming you. Like it's got that look like a drone is following you. So these little tools here have made my my job both a little bit easier, because now I know I'm capturing everything, but at the same time, people don't know I'm capturing them, and it's also inspiring me, because I'm also excited about technology, and I love gadgets. Bottom line, so that makes things fun too. So I'm doing my very best to pump the well again and get that spark going again, because I know it's still inside of me. And going back to that motto, you're not promised tomorrow. You gotta push your passions and dreams and do it on your own terms. I've always believed that, and be fearless, and I hate to say it, be shameless. Don't worry about what people think, because really, that's if they have opinions
that's like the artist mindset right there, dude.
Yeah. You don't look for haters, but if you do have haters, really what you're doing is you're really putting yourself out there, and it means you're progressing. I think Denzel Washington said, if you don't have haters, you're not trying hard enough. Yep. So again, that's not my goal, is to go find haters, but it's a gauge of that you must be doing something that's out of the ordinary.
just go all out, unashamed. Do what you gotta do. You're creating an art form, and it could be perceived in a different way. People will like it, people will not like it.
Yeah, and you're not going to satisfy everybody. It's not about being. What happened, I think, for me, my insecurity is, I remember being in elementary school and worrying about, I was very shy, worrying about what people thought, and super sensitive. So as an adult, it's a little bit still there. So you're kind of worried about, what's people going to think if I post this. Or you start to overanalyze things. I'm like, I don't like how it's edited, or I don't like my hair that day, or it's not in good lighting. But you know what? What it comes down to is the message. And I think people like things to be authentic. Anyways, it doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm learning to gravitate towards that, and and not let perfectionism stop me, because you can miss the train.
Yep.
You know, if next thing you know, it's just sitting on your hard drive for months and months and never see the day of light, right? And then you forgot, what is this? Oh shoot, this is something I was working on. I should have shared it a long time ago. But
Speaking of
yeah.
sharing, Dave, why don't we share some of the shots, and we'll share it with the viewers who will be tuning into this episode. Let's show what you have here. Okay, give me 1 second, and we have a screen. There you go. That's the first shot.
So I was telling the driver if he can kind of speed up, because here in the Philippines they have tricycles, or they have these. I mean, they have all kinds of makeshift vehicles attached to motorcycles, and they even have these e-bikes. They look funny. I mean, when you first come here, you're like, man, that's just a funny looking thing to ride on. But the funny thing, not the funny thing, but you don't see it. This mom here is holding her infant in her lap, and they're going really fast. They're going, I mean, they're zigzagging. So I should have did the video part of it, but to me, I'm like, man, that's kind of dangerous. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't have my kid on my lap going, 70 miles per hour on a tricycle. But that's normal here. And I guess there's no regulations, and they have no helmets. So I just wanted to kind of show, the difference between, what people do here and what's, not allowed in the U.S. So hopefully I'll capture something like that again.
Beautiful capture there, Dave. Beautiful capture.
Yeah, that's Palawan. So that was a hidden beach. I forgot the name of the island. I did some drone shots there, but we literally had to. I think it was, I don't know. It was like an hour drive to go through the mountains just to find this hidden gem. I mean, the water is so blue. I mean, it's bluer than blue, and turquoise. And it was nice and warm that day, and everything is cheap. I mean, here in the Philippines, your U.S. American dollar just goes a long way.
Yeah.
Right now the exchange rate is like 56 pesos to a dollar. So, I mean, I was eating sinigang, crab legs. Mango shakes, buko drinks. It was just a big meal, and it was like less than $10. It was just crazy. And then like these huts here, you can rent them for like $4 for the whole day. And I'm saying U.S. dollar. Yeah, so in pesos, it's a 4 times 56. To them that's a lot. Maybe for the locals it might be a lot, but for us Americans who bring our American dollar, it's just, man, you do live like a king with your money when you come here. Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah.
Wow, look at you.
Is that the video? Yeah, that's the same thing, Palawan. So, I try to, sometimes I have to hand my camera to people to take pictures, so selfies, I guess. Yeah.
Looking like a king. All right, on to the next one. Oh, nice.
Yeah, they got the punches. So they also had ATVs. What was it? Renting an ATV for like less than $10 for So we went. Wow. I have video of that too. I'll have to get you the video. But we're just zipping down up and down the coastline.
So that's the track right there, huh? Where they're at.
Yeah, I think that might be the track. Yeah, exactly. Right. Yep. Mm-hmm. So it's a huge beach. Yeah. It's a beautiful place. People don't realize the Philippines is a beautiful place. I mean, sometimes you only see kind of like the poverty that's over here. So yeah, there's a Twin Beach Club. You can probably go in there and feed your whole family for less than $30.
Trying to zoom in on the sign here.
I should have got the sign. I got to show you I mean, You know what's so cool in the Philippines? They have probably everything, uh, everything you would want, from Popeyes to Kentucky Fried Chicken to McDonald's. And the funny thing is, they serve everything with rice. So you can go to McDonald's and get a Big Mac with a side of rice. It's just so funny. But they got everything here. You would think that the Philippines is antiquated or behind when it comes to like food. And their malls, oh my God, their shopping malls, it makes, and I hate to say it, it makes Lynn Haven look like 7-Eleven. So they apparently have like, I think they have like one of the biggest mega malls in the entire world. It's number 5, and then I think there's another mall that just recently got built. It's like the third biggest mall in the entire world also. And I'm thinking like, man, here in the Philippines. But you know what's so funny? If you go to a mall in the U.S., it's not as crowded on a weekday. But I just went to the mall yesterday. It was like it was Christmas up in there. I mean, literally shoulder to shoulder. There's everybody like in the mall being together, and I would contribute that to, Filipinos. They're very family oriented, so they want to be together and experience things together. So I think the mall is the location where family gets together, and food is the theme when it comes to these malls. It's not the clothes, it's food. They've got everything from Japanese to Mexican food to definitely Chinese food to Filipino food. It's everywhere from every level. Yep. Twin Beach Club.
And okay.
So that's called a tricycle. So it's like it's a motorcycle with it's kind of like I don't know. It's like a hybrid car, but
Yeah.
literally these things are zooming in and out all over the place in any location in the Philippines. And what you do is you just ask these drivers, they're waiting around, and say, hey, can you take me down the street, to the mall? And you literally get in it and you're off to go. And they're fun to ride in because they're kind of bumpy. But this tricycle here is in Palawan, which is in a different location. I don't know what they did, but I did a short video where, if you look at it, it has, yeah, they put a Nissan bumper on it, but they have one that's like a Lexus. They have another one that's they got all the car brands. They got Toyota, and I think they hand shaped it. They completely sculptured it with their because I asked the driver like who builds these things, and they said we do. So they're funny looking when you first see them, but they're fun to ride in. And so for like 100 pesos, which is like $2. I mean, they'll drive you at one end of the city to the other. If you need to get somewhere. So what I did, I took my, I'll share the footage. I think that's what I sent you. I stuck my 360 camera in the inside, and I got that perspective of what it feels like to ride in one. And then I mounted it again on the outside. So I need to share you that footage so the viewers can feel like they're in there riding a tricycle without, really riding one. So they're cool. I like them.
Wow. By the size, looking at the size, it looks like a smart car almost, huh?
It does. It does.
Yeah.
And I might have a picture from the back end. You'll see the bumper, the lights. Like if it's a Mercedes, it will have the Mercedes lights on the back.
This one took me to another thing.
Yeah. I don't know.
This looks beautiful, whatever that is.
Yeah, that's where I'm actually staying right now. So it's
nice.
Yeah, so downstairs, you can go down there and eat breakfast, and it's so funny because they're serving sinigang for breakfast on the menu. So yeah, it's everywhere, man. You can eat well over here. But you know what's funny? what I notice, food is such a central component of this culture,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't really see a lot of obese people walking around here in the Philippines. I'm like, what? Maybe because they're walking a lot in the mall or something, getting their exercise. I don't know. It's just kind of interesting to see that. There's but
Maybe
they're
the
eating.
weather's got something to do with it.
It could be the weather, or maybe everyone's so happy that
But you see, sometimes there are some bigger people over there.
Yeah,
And I don't mean to put that woman on the spot. I'm just looking at this lady
yeah.
that's sitting on the chair right now. See,
That's a
and maybe there's
foreign.
some
That's
people that uh huh.
Yeah. I mean, you'll see foreigners,
Oh,
coming in
okay.
an American. So probably an American. Yeah,
All
but
right.
I would say 80% of I don't know what it is. It's like I don't see anyone overly obese in this country.
And I'm assuming their size, the size of their
Mhm.
clothing will probably be different compared to us in America. So like maybe
Yes,
an extra large is really a medium there. you know.
yes. I had to. I was buying a shirt and it was an
Mm-hmm.
extra. It was a large, but the thing was small. So I think Asian size is different, right?
Yeah.
That's what I found that the hard way. hmm
Um, the same goes with some of the clothes that I bought, and they're like the Super Dry brand.
Yeah.
And
hmm
I bought like a shirt that was supposed to be like large, but it felt like a
Yeah.
small. So I had to go back to the store
Yeah.
and exchange.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Maybe because Asians are built different.
I
They're
think so too.
we are smaller people compared to the American counterparts.
Yeah,
American people are just a little bit bigger frame, you know. So,
yeah. Oh,
yep.
beautiful. Is this where you're at right
Yes.
now?
Yeah, that's a pool. But that's nothing
Okay.
compared to the one in Palawan. The one in Palawan, it was like infinity pool. It looked like it was
Mm-hmm.
going off of the edge. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. This is in the middle of Manila. And they have another. I stayed at the Hilton, Paris Hilton, location, and they have a mini. It's called a mini Boracay. So
Uh-huh.
it's a beach with it's a pool area, but it's got artificial waves in it. It's got white sand and everything. So I have footage of that too. I'm gonna have to write a shot list for you. Yeah,
Ah, looks like Italy
yeah,
there.
yeah. That's one of the shopping malls that they just started building here. That's
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Italy is in the Philippines. They got Italy
That's
in the
nice.
Philippines. Yeah.
And that's it at night. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm telling you, Manila is like New York. It's pretty
Mm-hmm.
modern, and then when you go outside of Manila into the provinces, you kind of start feeling the countryside of the Philippines, but you kind of start seeing more of the somewhat of the poverty,
Mm-hmm.
areas of the Philippines. But when you come into Manila, you completely feel like you're in the U.S. because they are as modern as anything here, or even grander. Like I said, their malls are humongous, and they got everything under the sun that you would want over here, and for a much better price. I mean, you can get like a haircut. How much did I get a haircut for? I got a haircut for $6, but it included a massage, a neck massage. It included. It was just like they took their time, and then
The whole bundle.
um, the whole bundle. And I mean, it's just
Yeah.
like what? And then I tipped the guy. I doubled the tip, and he was just surprised. And I said, don't worry because what you did is like 20 times more in the U.S. The type of service you provided. So
Yeah.
yeah, and from what I've heard, a lot of people retire here. You know,
Oh.
a lot of retires. So that's
Inside
I
the Jeep.
yeah I took. If you don't know, for the viewers, a jeepney is like it's like a bus that looks like a tin can, but it looks like a Jeep too. And they put a lot of personalities in these vehicles. They add like emblems and colors, so it's very festive looking on the outside. I'll have to share a picture of that. But yeah, you get on this thing, and I mean, they pack it up, you know, you're shoulder to shoulder, and I think there was not even enough room, and people were hanging on the outside. These two teenagers. I'm like, oh, is that safe? But they were just hanging on, and the Jeepney driver was taking his route, and I was on my way from the mall riding this. But I wanted to experience what it's like to be in one of these things, which there's no air conditioning, but it's a fun thing to ride. So yeah, I think these there's a lot of kids in there because they're coming from school. Yeah, there's just one of the food places.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No.
Oh. So that
Grab
Ubi.
one out.
Yeah. So this is funny. I went to the movies last night to watch Mission Impossible. So get this. I was shocked, right? So right before I went, I said I got to sneak food in because food is probably expensive. So I saw this little ubi dessert, and if you look at it, it's 65 pesos. So that's like a dollar and some change. But man, that thing was so delicious. But I snuck it into the movie theater. But here's the thing: I went to the movies and bought the ticket. The ticket was like $6, and then I went to the concession stand. I know here in America, you know, popcorn and drinks and everything. That's where they make their money, and that's probably the most expensive thing you're going to be spending money on. So as I was picking the popcorn, we got this bucket of popcorn, and I'm always calculating things. I'm like, man, that was like what, $2 for that big popcorn? And then I ordered drinks, and then it just all came down to like $5 for everything, for the food, popcorn, and. But the funny thing is, once I bought it, the guy looked at my ticket, and he says, "Oh, you're supposed to get complimentary popcorn and a drink with your ticket." So he handed me bottled water and another jug of popcorn or a pack. And I'm like, man, I shouldn't have bought this. But it's so funny. Your ticket prices come with popcorn and drinks. And I'm like, man, this is so. And then you get to watch Mission Impossible in one of the coolest theaters. I mean, they've got these seats, and I took a picture of it. It's a leather seat, and you push a button, and it just relaxes. And it's so spatial between. Like if you bring a date, you have two people, it's spatial between you and the other people. So you literally have a partition where you aren't people, you're really like you're not bothering others. Even if you start talking, it's just so cool. It's just, they're up to date and everything, and the sound and everything. They got IMAX theaters over here.
Oh,
It's
nice.
just, man. But it's so funny, like how Western movies, Filipinos are watching them, and it's all in English. You know, but of course Hollywood, you know,
Yeah.
I would make one of the best movies in the world here out of the U.S. So, but yeah, that's that one lonely ubi snack. I would see there's a snack bar right there. So when you go to the snack bar, you're going there to get your free snacks that come with your ticket.
Okay, I'm
there you
looking at
go.
the price here.
So okay, so that 130 there. So for that tub of ice cream is like $2, $2 and some change. Yeah, and then right there, that 175 you can get or for pesos 95 you can get like less than $1 for a hamburger, and then they got a meal. Look at that hot dog meal for 210. I can see it 210, so that's like
Yeah.
$4, and it comes with a drink, hot dog, and I think fries, everything. But in America, that clearly would be like $9, $9 to
Yeah.
$10.
But
So
still,
I'm getting,
the thing
yeah,
the thing
yeah.
that amazes me, Dave, is that the hot dog and the drink are still $1.50 at Costco. 1985 prices.
Yeah, that's probably the nearest you're going to get to
Yeah, that's
Filipino
yeah.
prices. Yeah, yeah, yep, yeah. So that was last night. Um, Mission Impossible.
Did you like Mission Impossible?
There you go. See, you know what? I'm I fell asleep like 3 times,
Oh, really?
and it's not that I didn't. I was tired actually,
Yeah,
but
I was about to
this
say
this
that.
the seats are so comfortable.
Hmm
You're gonna fall asleep. That's the
Was it
drawback when
was it
you.
leather seating?
Yes,
Hmm.
and it was just you felt like you were sleeping in a bed, and I was just like, I dozed off and then woke up like, oh, what's going on now? But I think that's a drawback if you're just too comfortable sitting in the
Yeah.
theater. But but yeah, so I ordered this tub of popcorn, and then they handed me these two. I'm like, I didn't order these two. No, it's like, no, it comes with
Hmm.
your ticket. It comes with your, like, what? So then they started handing me like a drink, and I'm like, oh, so for $6 you get a movie, you get to watch a movie, and then you get your snacks that come with it. So I shouldn't
Now,
have
Dave,
ordered.
does it actually show up on your ticket like free popcorn,
Yeah,
complimentary popcorn? It
complimentary.
does.
Yeah, hmm
Oh,
and they got
okay.
some nice theaters here. I mean, just like I said, they got the IMAX theater, and
Mm-hmm.
so my perception as a kid when my dad would talk about the Philippines, and I was wrong. Oh, there you go. I was wrong. Was that the Philippines is antiquated because you hear about stories of your parents not having everything when they were young.
Yeah.
So your perception is like, oh, when I come visit the Philippines, we're gonna have nothing, which is true. You're not gonna have toilet paper, and I'll tell you that a little bit later. But just you come here and you realize, man, this country they got it going on when it comes to technology and infrastructures and things. I mean, they got everything under the sun that you would want to do here, from zip
Mm-hmm.
lining to just everything. You can ask for it, and then they have it somewhere, and even better and cheaper.
Wow. Everything at your disposal.
Yeah, clothing, everything. So yeah,
And
this is
seating.
the thing. Yeah, seating. They've got this table there. They've got, I don't know, that little thing there is like a light. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what? You're gonna read a book while you're watching a movie? I don't know. It's just pretty. And if you look, there's not a lot of seating, so there's a lot of they allow spacing so that you're not
Yeah.
really um, interfering with anybody. It's almost like you're on your own
Mm-hmm.
there. So yeah, that was pretty cool last night.
Hey, do they have
Yep.
those kind of seatings where you're kind of like feeling the shake? No.
I don't know, but they had buttons. They probably do. I should have pushed
Uh-huh.
every button to see. Oh, you mean feel vibrations of the movie, or just to feel?
Yeah, I don't know what they call those. Is that called like 4D seating or something like that? Where you're feeling when you're
Oh,
just watching, and then you're also feeling the scene where there's like a chase scene
yeah,
or something's
yeah,
rumbling. You feel that while you're
yeah.
sitting down.
No, no, no. I would think that would have it because they had multiple buttons. But I know what you're talking
Hmm
about. It's kind of like the when you went to Busch Gardens. Do
Yeah,
you remember that?
yeah,
And then you watch a show and it'll vibrate
yeah.
according to yeah. And then they sprinkle water in your face, like
Yep.
because there's. Yeah, I don't know what that was, but it just intrigued me. Like that thing looks like a spaceship, but I'm assuming that was a hotel. Yep, and that's on the outskirts of the shopping mall.
Wow, that looks
Yeah,
interesting. Interesting
yeah,
architecture.
yeah. I mean, this city has. I mean, they have like up to date
Hmm
trendy things. There's I haven't been there yet. There was a nightclub that one of my friends went to over here, and I didn't go. I was too tired. And I don't know what area in the Manila it was, but they said nothing but Lamborghinis and Ferraris pulled up. Yep, and these were young kids, and some yuppies were coming in and clubbing, and they had a dress code and everything. But you would not think something like this exists in the Philippines. It's just like, okay, this is this is like New York over here. And in my mind, I'm like, I wouldn't think there would be like, like a Lamborghini going down the street when, you got Jeepneys and tricycles, zooming all over.
This one's your cover photo on your Facebook, right? I saw that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so that's Palawan.
Yeah.
Yeah, so island hopping. Yep.
Oh, very clear water.
Yeah, it's super clear. So it's cool. These island hopping trips, they take you to every island, and you could jump off cliffs, or you can go canoeing, kayaking, or you can snorkel. And it's pretty cool. And then they offer, I think the trip offered like lunch. So we had lunch on an island, and it was just fun, and met other foreigners. So I met some Australian foreigners.
Did you met like maybe Australian Filipinos? You ever met an Australian?
No. Who I did meet was when I was waiting in line again. This Caucasian guy was buying his stuff, and I think he's from Australia, and he was speaking Tagalog, like it sounded like, fluently, and I was like, man.
Oh, fluently, not with an Australian accent.
No, it sounded like our parents were talking, and I'm like, man, if he could speak it, I could speak it too.
I noticed there's some European bloggers too in the Philippines, and they start speaking the language, and they start doing their blogging thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, that could be a great thing to have, is to speak the language, because if whatever country you're speaking and you visit, it'll give you an advantage. Because there is a communication break when I have to ask for something when I'm here.
Another wonderful capture you got here.
Yeah, this doesn't do any justice. I can't wait to look at the drone footage.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to look at that. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you look here, you can go between these little tiny mountains, and there's a lot of stuff going on in there. There's like little coves and caves that you can kayak in, and little areas that can go swimming. It's just an amazing country to have fun if you're vacationing. Apparently they probably have one of the most beautiful beaches in the entire world over here.
Yeah.
From what I heard, but you never hear about it unless you're Filipino.
Yeah.
I wish you could play the video. Yeah, that's just in front of the mall.
I wish. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
By the way, did they start putting any Christmas products out there yet? Or Christmas
No.
ornaments? No? Okay, because I know that's in September.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, for Filipinos, they start celebrating Christmas in September, and, it keeps going. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised that it's an amazing place. It's fun to be here during Christmas season.
Puerto Princesa.
Yeah, so that's the airport we landed in, and from there I had to jump on a van, and it takes like almost 6 hours. You got to zoom in and out, zigzag through mountains to get to El Nido, which is the resort area, the thing you just saw with the blue water and everything. So yeah, so airport, 6 hour ride, hoping you don't get car sick.
And that's more of the Princessa.
Yeah. Yep. And apparently, this is the cleanest province in the Philippines.
Mm. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they take it serious. I mean, there's a guy mopping outside, and they don't take trash lightly. You better throw your trash away. Like, and I noticed that it's very clean compared to when you're arriving from Manila, which
Yeah.
is a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
See, I'm like, he's
There
mopping
goes the prison
outside.
cleaning. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the guy was mopping again later on. I'm like, can you just mop that? There you go. This is the tricycles,
Yeah.
motorcycle car. If you see the back, I don't know. I don't know if they take the lights off of real cars and mount them on there.
It looks like it.
I'm telling you, man, Filipinos are pretty innovative in some funny ways, but it's unique. It's
It
nice. I
is.
mean, there's no limitations of what you can do here, and it's acceptable as long as it's not
Do
hurting
they like go
anybody.
to junkyards and get these parts or something?
Probably, or they order. Maybe they order taillight. You can
Yeah.
order taillights out of Amazon, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay, that is
yeah,
interesting.
yeah, lots of sleeping.
Uh huh.
So you'll find people sleeping in different places under the sun. Even the dogs are sleeping on the streets and stuff. So yeah,
Oh, look at all
souvenir.
this wonderful
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
yeah. So this guy here, he was asking me, he was telling me his story that he just got out of prison after 30 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he served a long time, and so these souvenirs here are made by prisoners. So I guess
Mm.
he when he got out of jail, he started his own organization or company, and you know souvenirs. And when he told me his story, I started buying a lot because I wanted to support him because the money or the proceeds goes back to some of the prisoners who need things like toilet paper and
Uh huh.
toothpaste and essentials. So yeah, and they're all handcrafted. So I have a bunch of souvenirs I can send you.
Did you buy one of each here?
Yeah, I grabbed I think I grabbed magnets and keychains and
All right, I'm gonna
some
magnify a little bit here. I'm gonna take a look.
yeah, a little bit of
Yeah, this stuff's
sand.
nice. Uh huh.
Yeah, a little bit of sand from the Palawan beach. I don't know, they had alligators. I didn't know what that was. Alligators? You got alligators here or
Oh
something?
wow.
But they're all handmade.
Oh,
Oh,
I got an alligator head from Florida.
really? Oh, a
Yeah.
real one?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they can be
Oh.
like this big, or they can be that
Mm,
big, or that big.
mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Seashells.
Yep.
Just keychains that look like a pencil or something.
Hmm. But I bought a little boat which was handcrafted and it's meticulous. It's kind of on the bottom. You can't see it.
Oh.
Or is that a chair? I don't know what that is. But yeah, they do woodwork stuff,
Mm-hmm.
sketching and everything. So really
Nice.
nice. Yeah. So
Oh, nice van. Is that the
yeah,
one you rode on?
that's the van. So I was with other tourists leaving the airport. So their vehicles are a little bit different. You see
Yeah.
models that you don't see in the U.S. I don't normally see this kind of van. It's a Toyota.
No, this is not even in the U.S. This type of model.
Yeah, that model. So it if you watch the Godzilla movies, it's still. You ever watch old movies like Godzilla?
Yeah.
It's got that Asian shape, like that style to it. But it's funny because the driver parked, and I fell asleep. Majority of the people fell asleep in the van, and he was nowhere to be seen. And he left the car running, and he parked it. He parked it right in front of this like little stop by restaurant where you can eat food. And he was over there eating with the other drivers. So I get out and I'm like, because I had to use the bathroom. I walked up to him and said, "Hey, are we supposed to eat now?" So he wasn't too informative of what we were stopping for, but we just had to figure things out. But maybe it was because he didn't really speak English. So yeah, so
So most of the passengers, including yourself, were asleep, right?
hmm
Yeah, I guess he didn't want to bother anybody, so he just went to eat.
probably
Yeah, like just a typical normal day for him.
yeah. To me, I'm like, man, I gotta use the bathroom, and I'm hungry, man. You should have told me.
Oh, nice. Nice picture.
Yeah, so that's from the outside of there's like this mountain cliff right next to the hotel. You look down, on the bottom, there's traffic going on with tricycles and
Yeah.
yeah. Yep. So I'm for the first time I flew my drone like extremely high because the mountains are high. But it's so unnerving. I just got my drone, and the reason why it's unnerving because I invested in a drone about 8 years ago, and I flew it one time and then flew it a second time. I guess the technology was still new. It never came back. The drone flipped upside down and it flew off and it flew above kids that were playing soccer. And I was trying to kill it. I said, I don't care about the drone. I care about the safety of it's gonna chop someone's head off. and this drone was huge. It was a big one. And then it flew off to nowhere. And I'm thinking like, man. Then
How much was your drone?
When they first came out, they were like 2,500. Like it wasn't a DJI one. I forgot the company. But yeah, it was one of those things where, holy crap, I might cause an accident. And who knows where that drone flew? It could land in the middle of the highway and cause people to crash. It's just one of those thoughts. So ever since I kind of avoided flying drones. So I said, you know what? I got to get out of my comfort zone. Technology's better. This drone's a little small drone. It's compact. The quality is amazing. It's easy to pack. And yeah, after that, I didn't have any fear. I think it was gone. I think the part, and you probably feel the same way, like when you don't know where it went, and you're just relying on what you're seeing on the screen.
That's exactly
and it's like,
how I felt when I show you that first video when I was in the forest area. That's when I lost it, and I had return to home button.
Yeah, you start like
I start feeling disoriented.
Yes, and it's like where left, right. It's just like you don't know. You're trying to look for landmarks. Like I think that's where I am. But then of course you got the maps. You can really navigate and go to. But there was one time when the wind was a little bit rough, and I hit return to home. It said I have to return to home manually because it was so windy. So then I switched from the visual part to the map, and I just kind of pointed. I pointed the arrow to go towards the dot where I was, and just kept going that way until things settled down, and the return to home kicked in again.
Yeah.
And when you're a newbie, it's unnerving but I think I'm getting a lot more comfortable.
Yeah.
Flying. You just got to remember. I think the safest place for a drone is to be high.
Yeah.
Because when you're low, you've got
free from all that distraction.
Yes, it's more safe to be up in the sky high where there's nothing, than trying to navigate through trees and mountains and. But I love it. I mean, it's changed since the first drone I got. You know, it's very intuitive. You can lock on an object and do camera moves that would take a lot of practice to do on your own if you did it manually. So
Yeah.
I like it. It's pretty cool. I think we're gonna have to fly drones together when I go to Chicago, huh?
I maintain the visual line of sight. So every time I look at my drone, it has to be like right in front of my eyes, and I can still see it. Like I don't really want to take it too far anymore, but I still see the drone. So I try to maintain that vision so that way I don't lose it.
But the funny thing is when it's gone, it's like you don't see it anymore. It's like a yeah. Because when I was flying over water here in Palawan, it went around some mountain somewhere. And I'm like, man, it's somewhere on the other side of the island. And then I'm like, you know what? Return to home. Come back. And it flew over the boat, and I had to cancel return to home because it's not always accurate. It might land in the water. I had to let it land on the deck. So, and I didn't dare to fly it out while the boat was moving because your return to home is going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a different spot, and you gotta update it if you're gonna. So, yeah, I'm still new to this, that kind of videography.
Nice drinks, by the way. What is this drink?
Oh, those were when I went to the hotel. The lady asked, "Do you want anything to drink?" And I'm really thirsty, and that's what they brought.
What is that? Is that
Papaya, I guess.
papaya?
Yeah. So, just the little things that they do here.
Oops.
Yeah, you gotta come down here. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go alone. I'd rather maybe go with a friend like yourself or something.
Yeah, we gotta go together sometime in
Yeah.
the future. There you go. That's the
Oh,
the infinity pool. So if you look in a far distance, that's the beach. And then the city is kind of in between the hotel and the beach, so there's a lot of nightlife right there on the coastline. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yep, that's one of the islands. And that boat is probably another tourist company. There's so many people from different countries coming here to visit.
Yeah.
But majority are Filipinos, which is kind of weird.
They're probably coming from different islands, right? They're probably coming from different parts of the island.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Beautiful
Yeah.
capture there.
Clear. Yep.
It is clear. Oh, I would love to go there one day.
You will.
Keep
It's
going.
one of the things you have to do. When you can, you have that opportunity. And I would say the best time to go is probably the beginning of the year to maybe April or June. I think starting June, from what I heard, it's the rainy season starts.
Rainy season,
Yeah. And the tickets aren't as high too during beginning of the year, because by the time it's like June, July, August, that's when everyone's on vacation. So tickets are just triple. It's probably not worth it. Yeah.
Another good capture.
Yeah, imagine flying your
Flying
drone
over.
over. Yeah.
You got the drone capture of this?
No, that was just
No?
probably my phone.
Oh.
I had a vlogging camera, my drone, I had a action camera, and the 360 camera. all in my backpack. And the weird is trying to juggle all three because they all do different things.
Uh-huh.
So, and it can be nerve-wracking because I tend to. It's easy for me to like put something down and forgot I left it there. Like,
Yeah.
and I was
Jonnyroobs is
always.
beautiful.
Yeah, that's one of those things you find a like a hole in one
And
of the rock form.
they take their
Yeah,
wow.
kayaking through it. Yep.
They take the kayak through that thing.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And they do have underwater rivers.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Big ones. So.
Wow, those are great pictures, Dave.
Oh, those are nothing. Those are the ones I just grabbed within
Yeah.
10 minutes. I have to really. I've got to show you the video of riding in the Tricycle and the Jeepney and stuff. So I think I started gravitating towards let me capture things that aren't in America. Um, and I think as a vlogger, you can either create your dialogue in the moment while you're there, which is something you have to learn to do, or you could do it after. You just go out and film B-roll footage, get show and tell, get a shot of what you're seeing, come back in the studio, get on your recorder, like your Rodecaster, create that dialogue, and then put the pictures with your dialogue. You could do it that way without being seen.
Yeah.
Or you could take something like this, like a podcast, and you can turn this into a yes, exactly. Because everything I'm talking about, I have footage of it or pictures, and that's how I remember that I've done those things. So, this trip has been one of those therapeutic healing times for me to, again, rediscover myself. I think that was the number one thing why I came here, and to do some work also.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm going to come back to the U.S. and I'm going to keep pushing. I can't just sit on what I've been doing for the past 20 plus years, which is filmmaking. I've got to. We're always reinventing ourselves, right? You've got to find a new avenue and something that's going to make you wake up and jump, right?
Yeah, you can't just stay in the same place. You have to be like dynamic. Keep going.
You do.
Keep building.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I remember when I first started getting into video and film, you would not see me without a camera in my hand, and anytime I woke up, that's all I talked about. And if you did talk about it, I was super excited about it. In time, it's slightly your priorities change. You go through life, and then it kind of takes a little bit of a back burner. It's kind of like you've seen it and done it all, and when you get to that point, you've got to find another angle. I started my passion one in video making, but then it went into wedding videography, which I did that for a good amount of years, and that's what allowed me to afford the things I needed to afford to continue that passion. I never chose to be a wedding videographer, but it was just one of those things that was in demand. I got burned out from that, and then life got in the way, and now I'm returning. It's one of those things like the Philippines is going to be the answer for me. Let me come over here and rediscover myself, and it's started a spark for me, and a lot wiser too.
Yeah.
When you're a lot older. So yeah. But yeah, that's the number one thing, and again, just do what you love to do,
Yep.
Just pursue your passions, like what you're doing with your podcasting.
Yeah, this is. I'm still actually taken aback from this, man. I'm still. can't get over what I've done this season. I remember it all started with these audio podcasts, and then I remember the video podcast when I first did it on season, I think it was second season or third, no, second season. And then having you guys on, that was cool in itself. And I still watch that to this very day, the one where we start reminiscing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and my girlfriend gets to see that for the very first time, and she absolutely loves the conversation. She loves how we all
Really?
Yeah.
You know, there's a relatable thing there because we all grew up during the same time, and you know, the '90s and everything, and you know, we're a lot older now, so we've got a lot to share. So I think that has a lot to do. And then, ironically, we all had something relatable to talk about, which was you know, filmmaking, and it led to going out and filming it during the Friendship Film Day. So again, I was rusty at the moment, like, oh man, I think I would do certain things differently to make the post production a lot more easier. But that's how you live and learn. You practice and figure things out. But you know, going back to our parents, you know, our parents we're starting to get up there. Our parents are getting pushed, you know, and they're getting pushed into old age, and you know, it's common that you're starting to hear your friends losing their parents. But you did strike a nerve that, you know, that first generation Filipinos, which are our parents, who came here to America to get a better life from what I'm seeing over here, which life here is beautiful, but yes, there's not a lot of opportunities here from what I've heard. But for them to, you know, leave their country and to find great opportunity in America is a big feat. I can imagine not knowing English and being in a foreign country. You know, and during that time, my dad joined the Navy in the '60s. He's probably had, you know, some discrimination to deal with from what I've heard, you know, from other U.S. Navy fathers who joined the Navy. And then our moms, they had to hold the fort down, right? So, you know, our dads would leave, you know, for months at a time, and then we would be at home with, you know, mom, you know, from what I remember. And I remember my mom would go pick up my dad at the shipyard after like a 6-month deployment, and I was like, who's that guy? that was our dad. So, you know, they did a lot of sacrificing. And, you know, when I come back here and bring my parents to the Philippines to come back to their roots, because this is where they came from, they are happy here because this is what they know, this is what they remember. And ironically, you know, they left when they were in their early 30s, or maybe I think my dad left when he was in his 30s. That's still being a baby. That's young. He really didn't even have a chance to know his country, but he does know his country because when he comes here, he's familiar. But at the same time, 30 years is just like, it goes quick. When he's here, he's not familiar with things that I'm discovering. Like, or it's so ironic how, like I say, have you been to Palawan, the island? He's like, no, I've never been there. It's almost like another foreign place. It's because, you know, he left when he was in his 30s. So for them to come back, I think it's refreshing for them. It's comfort for them, and at the same time, it's opening up my eyes, and it's making me happy that I'm allowing them to come back to their roots after sacrificing their lives to give me a life in America. And now that I'm coming back, I want to embrace, you know, where they live, and rightfully, you know, I'm Filipino American, and I want to know where I come from. I want to bring my kids here too, you know, and it would be an eye opener for them to see a different perspective of how people live, and why not the Philippines?
Man,
so
that was quite the
yeah.
sacrifice on your father, you know, on your father's part.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. Was your dad in the Navy?
Yes, he was, and he signed up, and he went to boot camp in San Diego. I believe it was 1967. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he went back to the Philippines, married my mom, and then later they went to Japan. That was one of his first assignments, was going to Japan, and that's where I was born. I was born in Yokosuka.
Really?
And then
Wow.
we went off to Korea after a few
Mm-hmm.
years, and then we
Mm-hmm.
settled down in Norfolk.
Yeah, that's just as a kid, you don't really care about what they did. You just know you're living in America, and then as you get
Yeah.
older and you become, you're an adult, and you kind of now look back and you appreciate what they did, because if
Yeah.
it wasn't for their sacrifice. So that goes back to me being a filmmaker. I'm sorry, I got to plug my laptop before it dies. But going back as a filmmaker, I feel like that generation of Filipinos, the first generation Filipinos, and I know other Filipinos have migrated here in different ways. Nurses have come here to America because they wanted to be a nurse. But I think the one area of how a lot of Filipinos have come here to the U.S. is our dads joined the U.S. Navy because they opened up the gates
Yeah.
to allow recruitment back in the day. And my dad, from that backstory, my dad, from what I heard, he had to go through tests, and it was a competition. He had a friend who was as smart as he was, but he didn't make the cut. And then my dad made the cut, and I can imagine how stressful that is, just to be like, I need to do this because I want to get out of here and to have a bigger opportunity in life. So, now seeing my dad, he's a lot more frail, and I remember when he was pretty sharp back in the day. I can imagine he was probably one sharp guy, aggressive to get what he wanted for his life. And now I appreciate what he did, because I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have the opportunities what I have today if our parents didn't do what they had to do. So for me, I'm trying to find maybe a project that can encapsulate that story,
Yeah.
in a way. And there's going to come a point in time when that story is going to be
It has
harder
to
to
be told.
tell.
Yeah.
It has to be told, and it's going to have to come from the source, like our,
Well, they're
like
still
the
here.
people.
Yeah.
Yes, because if it doesn't, then it's going to have to come from us, and
Yeah.
it's not going to be as powerful. I think it needs to be a mixture of both. I think you need to hear how our parents, what they had to do, and from their own words, to how we feel about it. You know, so I'm seeing some sort of document, and this is something I always wanted to do. I see some sort of documentary capsulizing that, because not to be pro-Filipino, I think it would be a wonderful project to work on and to collaborate with other people who can make it happen, so that the next generation of Filipinos, like my own kids, can really see why they're here, and at the same time inspire other cultures, because migrating to the U.S. is a cultural, it's similar in some different ways, but hopefully, my dad's story, or anyone's story who was in the U.S. Navy that came here, can inspire Italians or other cultures to say, wow, my dad did that too, in a different way, but I can relate to it. So again, I don't want it to be some kind of film that's pro-Filipino, but something that's humanly relatable, in a sense.
Yeah.
So I know
Do
I
you have a
can't do
lot
it
of?
alone. Mhm. Oh,
Uh-huh.
go ahead. Mhm. Go ahead.
Do you have a lot of like old videotapes in your archives that show your parents?
Yes, I got that,
Yeah.
and as well as our friends do too.
See, that
I'm
would be
sure you
great, just
have.
to put all that together, man.
Yes.
Mm.
I think I think the key trick to telling the story is because I know you can't tell everybody's story. Because
Yeah.
I did a couple years ago put it out there that I was interested in creating a project like this. But the problem is I started getting floods of emails saying, "Oh, my dad could be the one who could talk about it," and then so everyone has a story, but it's somewhat
Yeah.
similar and relatable. But you've got to find that ideal either family or person who father who can tell their story that's going to be universally relatable to all, not only all Filipinos but the entire world. who watches it. So
Sometimes you just got to narrow it down.
you do, and I know Filipinos, they want to
Yeah.
tell theirs, and you don't want like a 5-hour documentary of everyone telling their side of what. You kind of want to hone it down. So that's going to take some management and probably some just like making a movie. You're going to have to screen people, or you're going to have to do maybe I could set up something where they can do a 1-minute story about who they are and find that ideal couple to do the documentary about first generation Filipinos. So we all know this.
Cool. What would be cool if they do have featured individuals for this thing, but then also at the same time, it would be cool too if you put those that didn't make the cut, put them into extras. Little featurettes.
Yeah, you could do that. With social media now, you can do little splurts of, you can showcase different pocket stories, I guess. So I don't know. It's one of those things where you pre-plan, and my friends have told me, other filmmakers have told me, there are 3 stages of telling a story. You've got the portion where you've got to write it and plan it, and then you got to film it and gather the materials like the pictures and the archival stuff, and then the last part is the editing. So the editing is really it can go in different variables. It can end up completely different than what you envision when you've written it. So the whole process is it's kind of unpredictable, but you kind of stay in the same. You kind of stay within the same. You don't start making an action movie when you started off with the. So you never know. You never know until you get the footage what you're going to end up really doing with it on the back end. So there might be room to make multiple things out of it once you gather that stuff. So, but I know the story of Filipino dads coming to America. It's a fact. It happened, just like the story of how the Titanic sank. So you can be bland about it and just tell the story like, okay, our dads came to America, blah blah blah, and it's predictable. But the second story you need to tell is you've got to find someone who has a story that's outside of migrating to the Philippines. It could be as simple as, I don't know, it could be a love story. Maybe it could be a father who decided that he needed to go back to the Philippines and pick up his wife after he joined the Navy, blah, blah, blah. So you need that unpredictable story that's going to make people want to watch while you're telling the facts of, how the floodgates open for Filipino dads to join the Navy and what they had to go through. So
the themes might be the same, about their beginnings, but each one of them has a certain perspective.
Yes, yeah.
Different from the other.
Yes.
And
so
that's probably what we want to capture.
You've got to narrow and find whose story needs to, whose story is just really out there, that diamond in the rough.
Right.
Like, man, that dad and that mom and that family needs to tell their story that has nothing to do with migrating to the U.S. The story of how he struggled or whatever, or something tragic happened within his story, or how he went back to the Philippines to pick up his wife. But at the same time, he joined the Navy, joining the Navy back in the... So it's part factual, but there's another layer to it. So when I talk about the Titanic, which is a perfect example, the Titanic story is there. Everyone knows what happens.
Yeah.
If you told that story alone, no one's going to watch the movie because they're like, oh, we know what's going to happen and it's going to sink. But because they add that second layer of Jack Rose and that other character, they created a fictional story that was on top of the Titanic story.
Of a real event,
A real event. It's not a real story, but that's what drove the backbone of the movie. And I think that's the same thing that's going to have to sort of happen with telling the story of a Filipino dad coming to the U.S. So that's screening, finding out who needs to tell me who you are and what you've done and what happened to you. So yeah, it's going to take some collaboration. It's going to take some podcasting to promote it.
Yeah.
It's going to take someone who's likable, someone who wants to be on camera too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of elements that's going to formulate and make something like this work. Now, you're not guaranteed it's going to be a hit at the end, but you want to increase your chances by making sure you're not casting somebody who doesn't want to talk about it. Like, there's a difference. Like,
Yeah.
or someone who, I mean, I hate to say it, if their English is not the best, that's not going to work. They can't communicate right. It's so it's stuff like that. You've got to, as a producer, make sure everything is all the ducks are in the row when you're, because at the end of the day, you want this thing to end up on.
It's going to take a lot of work. You're going to have to translate that.
Yeah, and it's going to take a lot of work, regardless, to produce something like this. But at the end of the day, it's going to be timeless. Historians might watch it. Our kids and kids are going to watch it. It's going to be something, at least whoever's part of it can say that they left something behind.
Yeah.
And it's something you could be proud of. And what a way to be. Can you imagine something being on Netflix that you produce? It's like, oh, I produced that. We produced it, and that could be an accomplishment. And it could be, I don't know, might end up flying back to the Philippines to show it, So the Filipinos here will be like, wow, I didn't know Dad's, left to go to America. Let them see our perspective. And then, we can show it San Diego and different cities where there's high populations of Filipino, Philam-American families. So one thing leads to the other, so... But it's not an easy feat. That's all I know. I can't do it alone, and it takes collaboration with people like you and other filmmakers to make it happen. So, yeah, it's a dream.
We definitely have to put Hampton Roads on the map. I know there's a lot of stories that come from California, because I know the largest concentration of Filipinos are from California, and then Philippines is just within reach there. But when you're talking about Hampton Roads, man, this story needs to be told. I mean, there's a lot of us now, but at the same time, you really want to talk about our generation and our parents, because this is pretty much what set the bar. They were like the pioneers, you can say. They paved the way.
Well, that's where it comes from. I mean, that's the foundation of why we are here, and why that's one. I mean, like I said, it's not just Filipino dads joining the military that got us here, but that's just one little nugget of how we got here. That's the only thing I know, because that's how I saw it. I lived it. I was a military brat, so I can easily tell that story. But you're right, Hampton Roads. Why not? Why not use Hampton Roads as a hub to say this is where it came out of? Now with media and technology now, what I've learned, you don't need to be living in LA to do some big stuff. I mean, you literally could be in your bathroom on a laptop with a camera, editing. It doesn't matter where you are. You can make noise. You can make noise and share what you have to share from any part of the world. And where it comes from, that's a plus. That would be like, that came from Hampton Roads. And then you got supporters there, and that would be a great thing for it to be coming out of Virginia.
Yeah.
Virginia Beach, or
By the way, Dave, on a non-related note, I gotta show you again that drone video. My very first drone video. I still gotta show you that, man.
Okay.
We'll look at it. We'll look at it again. Tell me what you think. Here we go. Oh, I'm gonna try to play it.
Ooh, cool. Nice.
And then, of course, I put some footages from my phone in there, too.
Yeah, yeah. Man, I'm gonna have
Enjoying
to
our
learn off
boat
of
ride through
you.
the storm.
Now, when you were on the boat, did you have follow the boat, or were you daring enough?
Oh, no, this was just straight out camera work here from
Mm,
my phone. I didn't want to put the drone out there, although my girlfriend told me to. See,
mm.
that one, I just let the drone do its thing right
How,
there.
yeah,
And, of course, the
yeah,
finale where everyone says bye.
yeah,
And it goes all the way up in the air. It's a beautiful place.
yeah. It is. You get this. I think the drone has its purpose. It allows you to see. It creates establishing shots. That's what it basically
Uh-huh.
does. It establishes where you are. So if you were to go, if you were at that gathering and all you brought was your camera, and you just started filming around, your limitations would be where you are around the house or around the lake. You don't feel the grand of where you really are, and you need to, as a storyteller, you need to let people know where you are, and that's establishing
Yeah.
shots. So if you notice in movies, and it's always quick, they'll show a wide shot of New York, and then it's an
Mm-hmm.
interior shot of people talking. So now you
Yeah.
know that's in New York.
Mm-hmm.
So and they use those establishing shots to separate sequences. So you
Mm-hmm.
might be from New York, and then it'll show a shot of Chicago, a wide shot of Chicago, and then it's two people talking. So
Yeah.
it creates establishing shots. But it's very cinematic when you are flying a drone because you can do these moves that normally back in the day you would have to have a crane. They call it a crane where the camera's on a
Yeah.
crane, and you can go up, down, left, right, and it's nice and smooth. But now, really, you don't need a crane. Your drone is actually can go higher than a crane, and you can really do these really nice cinematic type moves. You can
Yeah.
you
It
can
gives you
push.
that larger than life feel, that big budget
Mm-hmm.
look.
Yes, yes. It's like the salt and pepper for your
Mm-hmm.
your sequences.
Yeah.
So, especially if you're going somewhere where, like I said, I have to go fly a drone in the Philippines because I can film everything, but if they can't see and
Mm-hmm.
feel the grand of, the mountains, then you're
Uh-huh.
not going to really feel like you're there. So, again, I got a 360 camera, a drone, and then my vlogging camera, two vlogging cameras. I got one vlogging camera, which is an action camera, and I don't have it here, but it's really cool. But that's less noticeable. And then I have a regular um, Sony camera, which is a little bit bigger, better in low light. So that all fits in a backpack. Because the first time I came here to the Philippines, I brought everything and everything, and it was just I actually wasn't proficient because the equipment weighed me down, and you're more likely going to lose something when you're on the go, when
Yeah.
you're trying to manage all kinds of equipment by yourself. So, got to keep it simple and light as possible. So,
By the way,
yeah,
Dave, did
yeah.
you ever do like drone shots like at inside the home? You ever done that?
No, not yet. I haven't tried that yet.
All right, let me just show you some of the shots that I've taken
Mhm.
using a drone. Like this one's a drone shot.
Wow. Now, did you handhold the camera? I mean, your drone and took a picture,
Yeah, I
or
was.
did
Yeah,
you? Was
that's
it
the.
actually hovering?
Yeah, yeah. I was actually
Ooh.
holding the. I'm holding it. Actually, it was flying.
Mhm.
It was suspended,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
I just hit the button on the remote.
Hmm.
So let's see what else.
Gosh, DJI, that
Uh huh.
company, man, they're like on fire. They take like 70% of the drone market in the
Uh
whole
huh.
entire world,
Oh yeah.
and rightfully because their stuff is good. I mean, compared to I jumped on the drone market right when it started,
Mm-hmm.
and I shouldn't have done that because the technology wasn't good. And I know why my drone flew off is because it was near a cell tower, but it had no features that you know, the DJI drones have today at the fraction of the cost compared to what I spent on my first drone. So,
Look how sharp
but
this image is.
yeah, it looks like it's well lit too.
Yeah.
It's like a
Yeah, it's actually from outside. There, it's mostly like glass on the
mm-hmm,
to the right of
mm-hmm,
us. I mean,
mm-hmm,
yeah, on where we're standing is like to the right of me. There's a whole lot of
mm-hmm,
light emanating.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love the monochromatic colors.
Yes, I noticed that. It's got that white
Yeah,
kind
mostly
of, but
yeah, silver, white, black.
yeah. And you guys pop in the center because you guys are completely like your different colors.
Yeah, that's another drone
Man.
capture there. Of the kids.
Mhm. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. And here I am
Yeah,
looking above.
were you nervous the first time going really
Oh
high
yeah,
and
I was really nervous. You know, when you watch that first drone video, oh my
Mhm.
goodness, when it was flying right there and you just see a whole bunch of forest, I didn't even know where it was.
Yeah, it's just
I,
like gone. Where did it go? Like,
yeah,
well, you don't know if you're gonna crash and
mm-hmm.
but you eventually get comfortable with it. It's
Yeah. I got
funny.
comfortable even more when I did it in Florida and
Hmm.
when I did it in Chicago.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah,
Man.
it got more comfortable. I just got to keep
Hmm.
practicing it.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I really thought I was gonna lose it when I put it out there in the water. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I hope it
Hmm.
doesn't go down.
Hmm. But you know what's so cool? If you lose signal or let's say your transmitter dies or something, it'll come back.
Yeah.
That's how they have it. So that's a peace of mind for me. So I'm thinking, okay, well, if something happens, it's gonna come back. Because like you, I was like, I don't know where it went. It's on the other side of the mountain somewhere. But my finger was on that return to home. Let me hit return to home if I'm not feeling easy right now, and restart. And yeah,
Oh, I
so
gotta show you this one, Dave.
mhm.
This is when the park police caught me filming,
Oh,
and of course I know in some places they're not allowed to have
mm-hmm,
drones, but
mm-hmm,
yeah, here I was testing the drone, going all
mm-hmm,
out, trying to see if it could home in on me as I'm moving.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So yeah, here I am moving. You see me right there in the middle. Oops, I didn't share it yet. Sorry. Let me hit share. Okay, let's. Okay, here we go. There I am walking.
Mm-hmm.
Drone's following my every move. The cop's about to approach me in a moment. I still filmed it anyway. And there he is. Car coming.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I'm sorry,
And
but
he was
drones are not
asking you.
allowed here. That's what he said to me. Yeah. I'm like,
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah, as long as you admit it, like I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Yeah, I only got stopped once over here in the Philippines because it was near an airport. So, yeah, it's. Was he nice about it?
Oh yeah, he was just a young
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, they're fun things to use. I think I'm gonna when I get back home, I'm gonna practice as much as I can. I think I just want to get proficient at it and comfortable. Yeah, and the drones are getting a lot cheaper than they have ever been.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
there's
fun.
it's fun. You
I
got
wish I
drone
could fly
hater.
before. Uh huh.
You
Drone
got
haters.
drone haters too. People are like, you gonna fly
Mm.
that thing here? I got my privacy. I'm like, what? And like I said, I had to be really stealth when I came here back to the Philippines to film like in public places. So I think the 360 camera did it, and my much smaller camera. I have to check. I don't have it here. I think it's. Can you wait for 1 second? I'll find it.
Sure.
My camera. Okay, hold on.
Wow, that must be the traffic over there in Manila, I'm assuming. Well, guys, if you're watching this podcast right now, I am talking with my friend Dave. He's actually my guest here for today. It's morning over there, and it's evening over here. Okay, back to Dave.
Yep. So I got, this is the same company, it's Insta360. So I got this camera. Mm-hmm. It's like so if you look at it, it's got a flip screen.
Oh,
so
nice.
it's perfect for vlogging. But here's the coolest thing about this thing right here. I'm going to turn it on. So you can take the camera out. This right here. Mm-hmm. So it's even a lot smaller. This is all waterproof. So I have the mounts. I don't know where I put them. Oh, here they are. Right here. No, they're not. I don't know where I put it. But anyways, you can mount. This is magnetic. You can put it on a fridge. You can. There's a thing here. You can mount it right here. You can mount it on your hat. While at the same time you're monitoring it from. You can mount it on the outside of a car, and you can be watching. Mm-hmm. So, this has allowed me to film without being noticed. This right here. So, and it snaps back in. That. So it's a good vlogging camera. Let's see.
How much you got it for?
I got this on Amazon during they had that Prime sale, or Prime. Yeah, so it was like under 400 for this. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's got a magnetic. It's like that. It's got a little tripod thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So I there's, like I said, you wear a necklace thing, and there's a mount behind your shirt because it's magnetic, and then sometimes I'll mount it here and just walk around the mall, and then I'm watching my point of view, POV. I could be talking to somebody and getting them on camera, and they don't even know it. I'll let them know, but I don't know. It's just made things easier. And then I even I think I mounted this on the bumper of the Tricycle and got that perspective. Mm-hmm. While I was inside a Tricycle, I could see what I was getting with this. So, yeah, little small action camera. Action vlog camera. So, yep. Nice. So this company is Insta360. This one you could just hold it up, and it's getting everything around you. You can hold a stick, and you can replicate drone shots if you're not allowed to fly a drone, and just walk around. And it's not only getting things in front of you, it's getting things, like, it looks like there's a camera hovering over your head and capturing you walking. And I think I've stuck it in different angles and things I wouldn't be able to capture. I think I jumped off the boat and I held it in front of me with the stick. So not only did I get everything in front of me, I could do a 360 of me flying, and then I'm splashing into the water. It's just crazy. But I've seen videos on YouTube where the person jumps and the person throws this. Uh-huh. They throw it next to the jumper, and again, it doesn't matter where it's pointed. It's going to capture the action. So it's a good camera to have when you're trying to film on your own. So this, my phone, and my drone, and I have a Sony point and shoot for all my vlogging. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. The fun things of filmmaking. Now the quality is not as good as if you brought like an SLR and everything, but you sacrifice for convenience, and you got to be very you got to be convenient and light and nimble when you're on the go, especially if you're running around,
Yeah.
the city and stuff. So I learned my lesson the first trip I came here. Like I said, I brought my 3 SLR cameras, my big tripod. I'm like, man, this is just too hard to carry. You can't carry that stuff inside a Jeepney. You're gonna, and then you don't bring it because it's too heavy, so you leave it behind. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now you know how to go lightweight, but at the same time, you got all the awesome technology still with you.
Yes, and you know what? When I started, bigger cameras meant you had better quality, which is true.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, these smaller cameras now, they're shooting in high quality. You sometimes can't tell. You can't tell the difference between. I mean, look at the drones. They got the little camera on it. I mean, you look at the footage. It's like, man, was that shot on some high-end production camera? You can't tell the difference between a pinhole camera from a camera that has like a $3,000 lens on it. So which one are you going to carry? A 5-pound camera, or are you going to carry one that you can put in your pocket and get the shot, because you're not going to intimidate who you're filming either, too. Yeah. Because I can carry this around, but if I brought my SLR, there's always a reaction like, "Oh, you're taping me," like, yeah. And then I'm going to get caught by authorities, like, "Hey, you shouldn't be filming here," blah blah blah. So you have to be very stealth, and I think that's an art form in itself. It's how to be stealth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Man, I got all my stuff around. Oh yeah, here's the pole that goes onto this. So you can stretch it out. So here's the cool thing. When you hold this in front of you, this pole disappears. You don't see it in the shot. It's gone.
Oh, wow.
Because there's a stitch line, so it disappears. So now you've got this hovering 360 camera capturing you and everything around you. So in the editing process, you can actually pan wherever you want. Up, down, below, whatever. And as you hold this in front of you and you're walking, it's almost like a camera guy is taping you as you're walking in around the city. And again, it's capturing you, everything above, left and right. So, and then if you hold it up like this straight and you're walking, you can get a down angle.
Yeah.
You would think, like, did a drone follow you through the mall? Like, no. It's just had this, and I could hold it like this, like just incognito like this.
Yeah.
But the people behind me don't know I'm taping them. So I love it. It's a new toy, and I think I'll be using this more often, depending on the. So I'll show you the footage. I sent you two shots. I hope you can play those. So we got Ubi here.
Nice.
Ubi. With the Ubi. Yeah. Man, so what do you think? Was this an okay podcast?
Yeah, it's a great podcast. Very informative. We touched on a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
This
I
is
can't
one
wait
of my
to
first
see that.
times that I had a deluxe podcast in a while. So
Yeah?
I always call this a deluxe podcast if it ever goes over an hour. So.
I hope I delivered something you can use. I hope I wasn't, bland.
I haven't had this in a long time, so I'm just very grateful for the fact that I'm getting the chance to talk to you, the man himself.
I'm running on less than 2 hours of sleep, so I hope. Usually I'm more enthusiastic, but hopefully, it's still delivered. Yeah. But yeah, we got to come. One day. You got to take an opportunity to come down here, and anyone who hasn't come down here and see the country. I know, and then it does cost money.
Yeah.
But in your lifetime, if you get that opportunity, come and see where your parents came from. It's mind-boggling,
Yeah.
So, I don't know if I'm going to be coming here again anytime soon, other than if my parents ask me to help them come down here. But I think my brother's going to do that. He's going to take turns because they come here every year or so. We'll see. I think I need to go visit Europe or something different.
Hey, when was the last time you came by Illinois?
That was back in 2000, before I got married, probably like 2002, 2000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 2002.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check out Chicago again. It's been a while.
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah.
Let's make a plan for me to come down there. You know, it's not as far as you think. I just drove to New York and back, and it felt like nothing. So I was looking on the map, like, you know, you're kind of more on the west. I mean, it's not a bad drive. You know, it's maybe like a day and a half or so, but yeah, I'll drive down there or take a train.
Yeah.
I think maybe it'll give me an opportunity to vlog and walk around and go back to, again, that's part of my roots, Illinois.
Oh, let me ask you this.
Mhm.
Have you ever been to, like, Aurora? Have you been to Aurora?
I probably have. So I'm eating.
Remember that movie Wayne's World?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Aurora. This is where the characters are from.
Oh, wow.
And then there's Naperville. Have you went to Naperville? Or
You know what?
Oak Brook?
Yeah, Oak Brook I've been. The only places I've really stuck around back in the day in 1985 was Glenview, Illinois, Northbrook, and then if I did go far, I went to Six Flags, Great America.
Oh, okay.
Over there, I guess that was near Great Lakes area. So that's the extent. And then there were occasions we went into the Chicago, to visit Chicago and the Sears Tower. I think it was called the Sears Tower. But I do have a lot of fond memories in Glenview, Illinois. I went to I went to a high school there, Glenbrook South High School, and I didn't realize, you know, that it was a pretty rich area, Glenview, because, you know, my classmates were pretty uppity. I was always wondering, like, why are they being pulled up in nice cars, you know? But I was the only Filipino out of thousands of, Filipinos that were going to school there back in the day. So it was me and another Asian. I don't think he was even Filipino. Maybe I was the only Filipino there. But the funny thing is, I went back again when I had to go film a wedding in Chicago. And I went back and I walked into the school. It was nothing but Chinese. It was majority Chinese and Asians in that school. Because what they did, they closed Glenview, Illinois, the base, and they started developing new homes there. And I don't know, maybe Chinese or into IT or something. But apparently, that's a majority of the community there was Chinese. Chinese and Asians, so it was like weird, like, oh wow, this is. But I did live there when they were filming movies back in the day, like Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I think they even filmed some stuff. Yeah, because and there were some other movies like hey, that's Northbrook, that's a Northbrook Mall. They filmed in there, and of course they
filmed scenes from the movie Weird Science over there.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was familiar with the inside. Like, hey, that's I eat there all the time. But yeah, I remember the cold weather there, the winters. I remember when we were stationed in Cuba, Guantanamo. I moved there, I think around November, December. I went from 80 degree weather to like sub temperatures, you know, zero temperatures, and it was like a culture shock. And I remember looking out my window and the snow was up to the window, second floor. I said, there's no way there's going to be school today. And I was like glad because I didn't want to go to school on the first day, you know. Yeah. You get that anxiety going to a new school. But the buses still showed up. I'm like, what the? I guess we're still, you know, they just know how to clear the streets over there. They got it down to a science. So, yeah, it was a nice place. Oh, I went to Springman Junior High also. That's another junior high over there. But yeah, that's I would love to go back to Chicago. That's where I learned how to drive. I got my license there, and I remember my instructor said, you got to learn how to city drive. So we ended up driving into the city, Chicago. And I'm like, man, this is nerve-wracking. And I think we drove around the area. I don't know what city it is. The first McDonald's. I remember seeing the McDonald's there. It's like a museum. I don't know which suburb that's in. But I remember driving around that McDonald's. Yeah. Yeah, you didn't know that? There's a McDonald's there. Where Ray Kroc, he started that McDonald's chain. But there's a new McDonald's next to it. You got the museum, and then you got the new one. So, yeah. So
they said the McDonald's #1 store museum was housed in a replica of the former McDonald's restaurant in Des Plaines, Illinois.
That's it. Des Plaines. That's where I learned to drive. Mm-hmm. And then there was, I remember going on field trips to look at Frank Lloyd Wright's. Is that his name?
Yeah.
He has some property that architecture stuff. So I remember we had to go visit his homes and stuff and write a book report about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love Chicago. I want to go back. You know, as an adult now, you can go explore things. I remember Chicago. We went to, I think there's a mall there, I think. Something Pump or something. Pump.
Water Tower?
Water Tower, that's it. Water Tower went there. Yeah, so, yeah. So here's the deal. I'll visit, and then we'll do some filming.
Yeah.
And podcasting.
Oh yeah, I can even show you the areas of uncontrolled space in Chicago where you can film the drone, where it's like it's totally uncontrolled, totally legal.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that would be awesome. Let's shoot for probably spring. I'll come and visit a road trip.
That sounds good.
You know, I'll drive over there. I should bring my kids with me and I'll show them where I grew up. And then I'll probably go to Six Flags. I'll take them to Six Flags or something. Cool. But hey, I have to jet because we're gonna try. I'm gonna go meet some friends. We're gonna go visit another location and try to see as much as we can before I have to get back on the plane on Thursday. So it's, you know, when you try to do stuff here in the Philippines, you've got to plan because a majority of it is driving.
Yeah. So
you got to pick one or two things to do, and that's probably going to consume your entire day. So I want to try to get as much more footage as I can while I'm out here. Yeah.
Okay. All right, go do that. Have lots of fun because I know it's gonna fly by so fast. So you better make the most of your time, and especially when it's fun. You know, it just goes by so quick. But anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. Mostly watching. I know listening is gonna be a different thing, but watching everything here with my friend Dave Alegre. Thanks for being my guest here tonight, making time. I know you had to lose your hours of sleep for this one, but hey, it's all worth it, right?
It's worth it. Yes, it's so worth it. And we're on opposite time zone, so
yes, we are.
When I get back, I'm going to have to readjust again. So, yeah. But it's been a pleasure. You are amazing. You're doing great things. You are proof that persistence is everything. You know, you're focusing on your lane, and that's what you should do. Focus only on you. Don't worry about competition. Worry about what you're doing and just be consistent. And you know, you don't have to be the best. Consistency is one of the keys of getting ahead in what you're doing. And then in time you'll be better at it. You'll get better and you'll be the best.
Oh yeah.
You know? So
you as well.
Congratulations to your podcast thing, and I'm glad I'm part of it.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you. Yeah.
So much. Means so much coming from you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Take it easy. You know, God bless. You know,
Yeah.
safe travels back home, man.
Okay, and you let me know when you're in Hampton Roads, okay?
Oh, definitely.
Okay. All right.
All right, take care.
Okay, John. Okay, you
right.
take care. Okay,
You too.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.